I always think the veggie patch looks best when it's just been watered, so I thought I'd give you a little bit of a look around it and show you what we've got in at the moment. Here's birds of paradise and a monstera and another bird of paradise. Yes, they're not really veggies, but they do really well in here, so they get to live in here. They live under the grapevine, which this year is just cranking. And I sort of think it's because these pots are under the grapevine where the roots and that go, and they get watered, and the grapevine's just benefiting from them sort of holding that water in. Here's some mint. Got some mint in pots, because you shouldn't really let mint out of pots because it goes bunter. Got some peppermint. We've got a Davidson's plum, which is also just cranking at the moment. This extra 2 feet of growth on this thing, it's just popped up in the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy. Some tree that popped up, and I popped it in a pot and it's growing, but I probably should do something else with that. Some rosemary, a little curry leaf plant, which is also very happy at the moment. Look at that beautiful new growth. And then some little bits of the bird of paradise, which I potted up recently, and then had all these other bits and thought, well, I better pop them in pots too. The same goes for these frangipani stalks, which look quite dull at the moment, but they'll pop with something come a little bit more into summer. Another bird of paradise. More grapes. So many grapes. It's going to be a good year for grapes. And then we've got some celery and some beetroot, which is done. That's all gone to seed, and now it's just getting used to fill up the compost bins and feed the worms and the chooks and the ducks. And then I popped some tiny little capsicums in here, and they're all sort of doing okay except for the tiniest little fellow at the end, who maybe might not hang in there, but we'll see. A piece of succulent that really doesn't even have any soil with it, but just keeps growing, so there it lives. And then the blueberry bush, which is also really happy at the moment. Look at all those delicious blueberries. I'm going to have a bit of a harvest later. Just so many blueberries. And over here I've got my cutest little chilli plants. They grow these little purple chilies that turn into little red chilies. And they have these gorgeous little purple flowers. Then there's some lemongrass. We used to just keep this in pots around the yard, but then we realised the dogs eat it, so if we want to have any, it has to live in here in the veggie patch where the dogs can't get in. And then these are the other capsicum plants. These ones are a bit bigger and tougher. They're doing pretty well. Living in there with a native ginger. And then we come to the banana grove as we weave our way through the tropics here. Bit of a banana grove there, which leads up to a bit more of the tropics, the avocado tree, which doesn't have any avocados at the moment, but it will. Beautiful tree. And then down here, a bit of my ephemeral art, some painted chairs with a couple of pots on top, just because I can. Here's the other one. Sitting side by side in the mandarin tree, which has got lots of little baby mandarins on it, hiding away in there. And then we've got some exploding lavender bushes, which are just about ready for a cut back, but the bees are still busy on them. So I don't want to take away their food while they're still enjoying it. Some more lavender, some rosemary, which not only tastes great with things, but also has some really pretty flowers. I think I like purple flowers. And then over there's a couple of little tomatoes. There's a cucumber, another tomato, and then all in this patch is sweet potatoes or yams as well too. So they just ground cover, help keep the moisture in. There's a rhubarb tucked in there under the grapefruit tree. And then one of my favourite little spots, the strawberry patch. The strawberry patch is so happy at the moment. I fed her up on all the worm castings and she is producing prolifically. Maybe I meant profusely. That's what I meant, profusely. Look at all those yummy red strawberries. And the asparagus grows in here with the strawberries too and seems to like it, as do the ladybugs. Oh, it's still there. These little ladybugs. Oh. They love it. They're all over it. Another little asparagus there. And then over in the distance there's our tomato plants cranking off, chilli, potatoes in the background, some pumpkins in there, some butternut pumpkins. And then here at my upside down boat frame is some more cucumbers, another tomato. There's a couple of different types of cucumbers there. I really like cucumber. I've just popped a ginger in there, so I'm going to see how that goes, but as you can see there's not a lot happening at the moment. And then we've got the lime tree, and then my amazing chilli plant that just produces year after year. There, down here is some rock melon, some more rock melon. That's the ram. He's just butting into the conversation. This is the lemon verbena. This is sort of a bushy tree too. Great in cups of tea. Yes, Scott. Did you have something to say about the veggie patch, Scott? Yes, I thought so. Thank you. Appreciate that. Sawdust. That has been going in under the hay all around the veggie patch, you can see. Helps keep the moisture in, helps enrich the soil. Got our compost bins there, making some compost as well. A couple of rhubarb bushes here. They're brilliant, they just do their own thing. You cut them back, get some rhubarb, they grow again. And then we have our quite Rastafarian chunk of hay at the moment. So this was the one that we've just spread recently. And then it sort of kept falling down in a snuffleupagus style. So we've just capped it off, hoping to keep it together a bit until we need it. Little cherry tomato plant there already producing. And then over here I've got a row where I've put carrots in. Got them on a like seedlings on carrot tape, because if you don't, carrot seeds are so tiny and they're so hard to spread. You can see they're just starting to come up, so I'll have to thin those out as they come up. And then behind them I've put in some silver beet, but this is the patch where I had my, let's say it was a tomato rainforest last year with about 17 tomato plants. So where I've planted my silver beet, got lots of little tomato seedlings coming up as well, so I might pop some of them around, get a few tomato plants, or I'll pop them in the gaps where the silver beet seeds didn't take. So it looks like there's a couple of gaps there. And then last of all there's another patch which has got the sweet potatoes or the yams in it. This is the patch where we had our pile of hay last year that we were working with, so all this dark hay you can see is just so rich. And underneath that is some great soil and lots of those lovely wriggly worms that do their job in the garden for us. So yeah, that's it. That's the veggie patch. Thanks for coming for a walk with me.